Hello, this is Susan of the North, also known as Susan Hintz-Epstein, with the Rune reading for March, the Rune of the Day podcast for March 23rd through the 29th. So for the 23rd, this is today, we have the Rune, it's going to say Hagalaj. It's also identical to the rune in the Anglo-Saxon Futhorc, Ior, and it relates. Hagalaj is the sudden storm. It's the snowflake that the ancient Norse believed to be the seed crystal for a new beginning. Sometimes new beginnings don't come without a lot of chaos, shaking, the dead fall, like the high winds will knock the dead branches out of trees. Sometimes we have to meet our own resistances head on through life experiences that seem traumatic to us. Maybe I shouldn't use the word trauma here. I want to say through difficult life experiences, we can be shifted in our belief systems, in the awareness of our programming, our conditioning, as it were, to transform into a new way of being. And Hagalaj is the seed crystal that points the way to that transformation. It's not altogether comfortable, but it's not altogether bad. The rune for Monday, March 24th, is the rune Yar. This is the archer taking aim. This is the artist so concentrated on a painting that they lose touch with anything that's going on in the world around them. This is focus. This is determination. This is taking the seed of yesterday and focusing on what do you want to grow from this new beginning. On Tuesday, the 25th of March, we have the rune Ak, the oak tree. The oak tree is a strong. He withstands a lot of storms. He also draws the lightning. It is the rune of a leader. It is the rune of someone with deep roots, the capacity for resilience, the capacity to be able to make the decisions and take the hits or the benefits that come at that willingness to stand up and be seen and heard. On Wednesday, the 26th of March, we have the rune Perthro. Perthro is about getting in touch with our deepest roots in a way. I am going right to the Norns with this reading today and the roots at the tree because the Norns are those who oversee cause and effect. They oversee, if we announced our willingness to take a leadership role yesterday, and making decisions is part of a leadership role. You don't willy-nilly on your decisions. You give them thought, you give them construction, you give them purpose, and then you bring action to it. And the Norns remind us that things have cause and consequences. So giving thought to action can help offset a random, spontaneous, impulsive something that might have poor repercussions. It's taking a chance, but not without some thought going into it. On Thursday, the 27th of March, we have the rune Nauthish. Cause and effect can create conditions of need. Your back is to the wall. Straits seem dire. We've made a choice and acted on it. We may not always know the consequences of that from yesterday, but the choice, the need is defining itself here. It's defining itself. And in the second rune row, now Thij is followed by the rune Yara. Yara comes up for us on Friday. That time will pass. And time passing shows us the full choice of our full consequences of our choice. So if we made that choice on Wednesday and follow through with it, things unfold in seasons. Seasons coming up now, if we're speaking to the collective of humanity, we may be seeing changes to the seasons, to the growth patterns, to the year, because of choices humanity made as a collective to have industry, to have pollution, to have material wealth over a balanced life with the natural flows of nature. Or if it's a personal choice that you made, the unfolding of time will reveal all of the benefits and consequences or sacrifices. On Saturday, the 29th, we have the rune Stan. Stan is, in my often interpretation, is the foundation. It means stone. But I want to point out here, we have the shape of this stave, pair throw from Wednesday, and we have the shape of this stave, Stan, from Saturday. And I I often study these shapes to look for parallels because I think the old rune masters knew what they were doing when they were creating new shapes. And Stan comes from the Anglo-Saxon period. Pair throw is far older. It belongs to the elder Futhark. But the shape of Stan is like a stone. It's like a foundation. It's like the shape of the dug well, the stones that are put in place to hold the dug well in place so people could get their water. And what comes to us, what comes to me now at the end of this week's interpretation is that Stan could be the container for the well. If it's the container for the water of the well, then I'm thinking of the water of life and how important, A, our bodies are because they contain our spirit, our life spirit. And so many people have had traumatic experiences that put them outside of their bodies a little bit, and they need to come back and find a way to be comfortable and at home in their own body. That's one point. I could talk far more on this. Um, but another point is that to give our life force structure, sometimes we need to set boundaries with other people, other beings, other things. And boundaries are not a bad thing. They keep you from excessive people pleasing. They help you to stay, let's say this in a different way, undrained. I want to say undrained. I'm one whom can give too much to others and feel drained as a consequence. So this is definitely a reminder for me this week. But it's about containing your life force. It's about feeling at home in your body, which is your connection between the spirit world and earth. It's about setting boundaries to honor yourself, to respect yourself, and to grow your self esteem. So, all of that said, maybe I've just tapped into a few things that should be the focus of a longer, concentrated podcast at another time. But for this week, just to do a quick review, Sunday brought in a seed change, which can mean chaos until we face those things that no longer serve us and we have to release and take up the focus on what those things are going to be on Monday. On Tuesday, we had the rune of leadership, of decision making, of whether we will take up the role of guiding other people and being responsible for the choices we make. On Wednesday, we have the rune pair throw, which is games of chance, but it's also the rune of the Norns, and the Norns are about law and judgment and cause and effect and karma and law. On Thursday, we have the rune now Thij, which will point out need. But need is often borne out in the length of a year. What we think we need today may not be what we really need. And all that goes back to the role of releasing our conditioned beliefs and thoughts. What do we really need? The seasons will prove that out. The flow of time will prove that out. Um, if we plant a harvest, we will reap what we sow. And on Saturday, the rune stand came up, and its similarity to the rune pair throw brought me in mind of the need to establish boundaries, the need to contain your own well of life force energy. So I will leave you this week with rune blessing, Alu, and Heil, and may all the things that you need you find this week for yourselves.